Welcome to this morning's webinar. My name is David Munoz, and it's my pleasure to be the host this morning on the webinar called How to Leverage Testimonials to Grow Your Synergy Business. I can honestly say testimonials have been a critical part of my business. For the years I've been working in the synergy business, and what I have found is that, well, let me put it this way. Let me tell you a story. About 6 years ago, I was a banker at Chase, and I opened many business accounts. And I always was very skeptical of multi-level marketing business accounts, and I opened quite a few, from Herbalife to Amway to 4Life to you name it. And I always felt skeptical because multi-level marketing, I felt, was always a recruiting tool, and I didn't want to be recruited. And to my surprise, the individual that opened the account for Synergy, I had no interest in recruiting, just opening an account. And the individual that opened an account, as I was the banker opening the account, basically simply said that a product came out in 2008 that changed his family's life, particularly his wife's life, with high blood pressure. And all he wanted to do was open the account because he thought this was an important part of the future for health, which sparked my curiosity because, first of all, I wasn't being recruited. Second of all, I saw the conviction in that individual. And third, I had issues in the back of my mind with my family regarding diabetes and cardiovascular issues and personal issues myself, that I thought if I would share this with this person, he might try to sell me. So I didn't share it. I basically let it go. And a month later, I followed up with the individuals I did with all of my customers. The account was going great. He was able to get online great. And I said, by the way, tell me a little bit more about that product. And he said, sure. And of course he told me, and I said, the next time you're in, bring me a can. I'd like to try it. Sure enough, I sent it to my dad, who was sick in Puerto Rico, just to try it. And within 3 months, my dad's diabetes, which I was very concerned with, his level of glucose went down from 200 to 120. He was able to regain a lot of energy that got him back to his gardening, which he loved. And he even bought a couple of chicks from a local neighbor. This was back in Puerto Rico, when he lived in Puerto Rico, and was able to raise some chickens, which he loved to do. Prior to that, he was too tired and too sick to really enjoy doing those things like he did after he started taking the product. The product, of course, was Pro-Arginine Plus, if you're curious about the product I was talking about. And the rest is history. I decided to try it myself. It helped me. It helped my family. And I was shocked that eventually I was the one that approached that gentleman and talked about the opportunity of doing something later on after my banking career so that I would help other people's like the product, and he helped me. So that's my story. And from then on, I started sharing it with other people and have been able to help so many more people like he helped me. So that by now everyone probably knows that person was Dan Hammer, who walked into a Chase bank and I was able to open his account. Now, the reason I say this story is because it is an important part of this webinar this morning. So testimonials, my personal testimonial specifically, is important, as well as others. This is part of what I do now. I am part of the Hispanic Health Initiative. We are a group of individuals who have made a decision in our personal lives to take a different route rather than depend fully on medications and doctors and tests. We still see our doctors. We still follow his instructions. However, our aim and our goal is to hold those doctors accountable to make sure we feel better in time. And when that happens, through the knowledge we gain through excellent products, especially the products Synergy Worldwide offers, we experience a life-changing event that changes the course of our destiny and makes us feel so much better. those that are listening to me this morning, hopefully you are part, as I am, of the Synergy business, and you feel the same conviction and the same excitement, same passion as I do to share your testimonial with other people, because it's so important in Synergy business. Most, if not all, of the people you see in these pictures are my business partners, first tried the product as I did before becoming distributors, or as I call them, my associates in the business in the Hispanic Health Initiative. So before we go on, everyone, make sure that you can listen to this. I'd like you to take notes. Notes is so important because when you write something down, you tend to remember a little bit better than just hearing it and forgetting it 5-10 minutes after it's all over. So make some notes, because I'm going to refer back to this video. It's only about 1.5 minutes long. What she says and how she says it. So listen to Maria Madera, a person that I met. I did not have the opportunity to meet her before. I talked to her briefly on the phone and referred her to one of my distributors, and he brought her up personally to me after an event we had at a distributor location. So listen to Maria. She's speaking in Spanish, so try to read along as she speaks.
Mi nombre es María Madera. Tengo 60 años ya y yo empecé a probar el producto. Primero compré las 2 cajitas y con esas me sentí de maravilla. Entonces no quise dejar pasar tiempo y ahora me compré el jumbo grande y me siento muy bien. Me siento muy bien con ese producto. ¿Para qué condición lo tuvo? Porque yo tuve cáncer de mama. Me dolía mi espalda, mis riñones, todo, y ahora me siento. ¿Y cuánto tiempo tomó el producto antes de que estuviera? Me tomé las 2 cajitas que son, que cada paquete trae para 30 días. So, me tomé los 60, como quien dice, porque me tomé en la mañana y en la noche. Luego, como a la semana yo me sentí bien, y por eso decidí seguir tomando y ahora me compré el jumbo. Y mi esposo no me creía. Y ya lo empezó él a tomar, y ahora él solito va y se lo prepara, ya no espera que yo se lo prepare. Y dice que se siente bien, que siente con energía, que ya no le da flojera. Yo lo recomiendo a personas que al final vale la pena.
So that's what I call the 2-minute discipline in taking Progenine Plus, and this is an example of Maria Madera, who also experienced a life-changing event simply by having someone approach her and share what they experienced regarding Progenine Plus and nitric oxide therapy, what I call the miracle molecule, the 2 minutes a day daily discipline that can change your life. Now, Maria had certain emotions and certain expressions. She's not a professional actor. It was a spontaneous interview, and she was more than willing to share. And it was something my distributor and I was able to take advantage of in terms, she was kind enough to share the story with us. Now, I'll talk more about Maria in a few minutes, but first of all, I want to just reinforce to everyone that sharing a testimonial and an experience is only part of what makes up our business. I consider Synergy Worldwide building blocks, and as we grow in our business, we learn as we go. So we learn things like inviting people to events and webinars, as this one. We learn, number 2, as you could read up with me, is to tell a story or share an experience or testimonial, which is what we're going to make emphasis today, the testimonials. We learn how to use social media with pictures and videos, which, of course, if you have a video testimonial, that's a great way to share it. Of course, we get our business cards. That can be an opportunity for individuals to discover who we are and what we do. And I put the very top, we discover ourselves and we share ourselves in our own testimonials, because the testimonials are an important part in building your Synergy business. when you talk to your customers, and I've said this before, and I just want to emphasize that when we talk to our customers, we've got to look them in the eye and just let them know our heart. Someone called me yesterday and said, someone referred me to you. I don't know who you are. What is it that you sell? They said it was good. I mean, I picked up the phone and said hello, and that's all she said. Someone referred me to you. What is it that you sell? I heard it was good. How do you reply to that? Well, I said, well, first of all, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a natural specialist on health products. I was a banker. And let me tell you what happened to me. The story you heard at the beginning of this webinar is a story I told her. I was just minding my own business and somebody walked into the bank and basically told me a story that kind of turned my life around. And I told her the same story, and I told her that turned my life around. And I tell my customers, whether they're standing in front of me or on the phone, I'll look them in the eye and I'll say with all conviction, it can change your life too. If you just take 2 minutes a day to take a supplement that works like this, improves your blood flow, turns your life around, especially if you have, and I don't even know what she has yet, especially if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, if you have cardiovascular concerns, you have pains, if you have headaches. Many of my customers have turned their life around with this. What condition are you calling about, and what is your concern? Then I shut up. By that time, what I have found in sharing my personal story, in other words, I lower my defenses. I tell her, I am not an expert at this. I, like you, asked a question, and I, like you, heard it and made a decision. And what the customer did after that, when I'm during that conversation, was say, where can I get it? How can I start? And of course, that was the opportunity for me to be able to take the next step and point her in the direction of one of my distributors, which I'm following up today to make sure they connected and they're going to move forward. But by the end of the phone call, I felt quite convinced she was ready to get started. And it was all because we shared a story, a testimonial. But it was only one component of your Synergy business. So let's talk about the testimonials. When someone comes to you at first, like that lady that called me on the phone, you're skeptical. And you'll get a yes or a no or a maybe when you walk away. So what you say next is critical in terms of the success you're going to have in convincing that customer or that potential customer to buy or not to buy, or to follow what you're telling them. So they're going to say, does the product even work? Am I going to get ripped off? And I'm sure maybe if you've been in the business long enough, somebody's already told you, I tried this before and they ripped me off. They kept debiting my card, taking money out of my account, sending me product I didn't want. And I eventually got very upset. So they're on guard. They have their defenses up. Has anybody else bought from you? What happened to them when they bought it from? Did they get any results? That's part of your story. Is it worth the price I'm paying for it? In other words, how much does it cost? Obviously, our job is to convince them that price is not the important thing here. I always tell my customers the most expensive product you can buy is the one that doesn't work. So I try to get price out of it and say, what is your concern? What is it that you want to address? Let me share with you what I know. So I want to give you 3 very important reasons why testimonials are important to your business. 3 reasons that I have found are critical to me and need to be addressed. And if you address them effectively, these 3 reasons, you will be successful with testimonials. So number 1, first of all, testimonials are a reflection of you. They're a version of word of mouth, a form of expression. Testimonials from loyal customers and credible sources are critical to your business and your credibility. We've all heard it before. People will do business with those they know and trust. you probably believe 100% in what you offer in our products, which I do. I believe 100% in them, but customers will always ask questions. Buyers naturally want to know if a business product is trustworthy or credible before they pull out, their money. So testimonials allow you to satisfy customers and move forward when their minds are really put at ease, and they're able to trust you with your story. And I'd say the most important testimonial you can give is your own. And there, from that point on, you can ask them, what is your concern? And we can move on to number two, why it's so important. Testimonials connect on an emotional level. They're just not a reason to market your products or services. They're an opportunity for you to connect with your audience on an emotional level. When I talk to the customers, and let's say if I have the opportunity to speak on an event, a seminar, I tell them what the product has done for me and my family, and I say how upset I was when I lost my mom because of everything we tried, and how elated I was when I was able to help my dad live a quality life and enjoy his retirement. I also share stories that I'll say, you know what, and this is a true story I'm going to share with you right now. A gentleman called me. He was not taking the product. He called me and he says, Mr. Munoz, I just wanted to call you and thank you because my wife is singing again. And the reason he said that was because his wife started taking the product, and before she was taking the product, she had so much pain in her legs that she could not go up their first floor flight of stairs with the groceries because of the pain in her legs. So she had to hold onto the banister to help herself up. He told me that in a matter of 3 weeks, his wife was able not only to go up the stairs with the groceries, but she was able to walk around the block, and she started singing again in the kitchen as she cooked. That for me is emotional. That for me connects with someone who may have the same problem. And I share that story with customers, and I ask them, what do you think about that? Isn't that fantastic? What are they going to say? They're going to say, yes, it is. But I know in the back of their mind, they're saying, I wonder if the same thing could happen for me. And then I proceed by telling them, and I'm going to tell you what I told that customer before they bought. Nature's Sunshine Products guarantees, in this case, Progenine Plus, the effectiveness of this product. You will get better within 120 days, or I personally, David Munoz, will give you your money back. Then I stop and I let them digest that a moment. And I say, the only thing you have to do is make a decision to try it. And that kind of story, that kind of emotion connects with people, and you can move on to the next level. So let's go to number 3. Nothing captures attention like a good story, which brings me back to the beginning of Maria Madera's testimonial. Maria Madera had a testimonial that told her story. She had cancer, breast cancer. She went through some treatments. The treatments resulted in terrible pains in her body. She couldn't find anything. She had to be on ibuprofen. She had to be on pills. The product, Progenine Plus, nitric oxide therapy, and the 2-minute-a-day discipline changed her life. So when she came to my event, she was already a convert. Basically, she came because she wanted to buy a jumbo, and she knew that at the event she can get it. But what kind of an impact that was on her, and what kind of an impact she had in the video. And in the video, again, she wasn't a paid actor. She wasn't prepped for it. And she was a very simple, humble person that came in and gave her testimonial. And she said, as she looked at my phone camera, my husband did not believe me. And she said it twice. My husband did not believe, he thought I was faking it until he saw my change. Now he is taking the product every morning. He prepares it himself. My goodness, what a wonderful story that is that you could share with individuals. So let's keep on because I've got more like that. So you're hearing this webinar this morning and you're saying, okay, Dave, that's good, well and good because you've got all these people you talk to and everything else. How can I get started? How can I use testimonials to help me? Well, the good news is, as part of the Synergy family, we have resources. And one of the best resources we have, aside from, again, I have to emphasize your own story, so important, your own story, is that you can share the resources at the Global Health Makeover website. And that website has stories, as you can see right there, right below us. It says how Synergy supplements changed my life, right down at the bottom here. And you click on that video. That video is a little bit lengthy, but it has great information that basically it's, again, from a person who was being interviewed. You see the mic on her jacket there, and she gave a powerful testimonial. We're not going to go over it now, but certainly I invite you to visit Global Health Makeover and not only listen to her, but listen to many of the video testimonials you could share with your clients. There are also many, many written testimonials, fabulous testimonials of various conditions that we could take advantage of and share it with our customers. There's another way. Oh, here's the Global Health Makeover and a visual of some of the many videos, testimonial videos we can take advantage of. Again, and these videos are people who are everyday people that, like Maria Madera, decided to give their testimonial. These are all in English, so they're great to use, and I've used them. Another thing you could do, this is like crazy, I mean, just crazy thing to do, but you could actually go to Google and say, Progenite Plus testimonials. Wow, who would have thought, right? And when you press that in Google, guess what comes up? Gary Denson, who I've used his testimonial and translated. Well, I put Spanish words on the bottom, so it has Spanish. I forget the word, but it's Spanish words that come out as he speaks, translated. And of course, you have other testimonials. I've got Ivan Vanden also the testimonial. And of course, way down at the bottom, guess what? There's David Munoz there. And again, these are only a few of the people. Ignore that guy in the middle. He told me he was going to take it forever, so I still bring him, product because he's taking it forever. But everybody else has a testimonial. And these are opportunities for me to engage with these clients, say hello, they come and say thank you, and what a great feeling that gives us. I won't say me, I say us as a Synergy team when we impact people in a positive way and can share that emotion, that story with others and how their life has been transformed. Okay, this is Mr. Antonio. This was just last week. That's why I added this picture, because he's been my customer for a few years and he hunts me down to get the Jumbo Plus One all the time. So I wanted to take a picture with him. I wanted to share with you how I use my own testimonial resources and how I take them. Obviously, I take them with my cell phone. There is another video that we have that says how to record videos that you can use to grow your Synergy business. So you can refer to that video separately. So I won't go into how to do it, but I'll show you how I share it. And I have a page called 2mdclub.com, 2minutesadayclub.com, which I have uploaded some of my stories with the help of Dan. It's on the landing page. And of course, you can see there Julie, that she has a testimonial regarding migraines. You could see, let's see, Homer Wimberly right there on the right-hand side, a before and after picture of Homer. His life was transformed with Progenite Plus. The doctor had given him, or predicted, really, he had 2 years to live. And when I talk to my customer, I said, I know a guy who was given 2 years, no more than 2 years to live. He was so bad with diabetic retinopathy that he was able to find something that he could take 2 minutes a day to change the rest of his life. 2 years have come and gone, and he lives better than ever. I mean, that's fantastic. So I had the pleasure of interviewing Homer on the radio, and of course uploaded that to my site with, again, the translation on the bottom. And it's been fantastic. People will call me and say, yeah, I heard about that guy that was almost, almost in the deathbed. Or I heard about that lady who was so happy and her husband called you and said thank you, and how she was transformed. You know what? I have planes in my legs, and I was wondering if. That's beautiful. And when that shows that this type of marketing does help, this type of strategy does help. So I have a telephone, and I take videos on my phone, and I upload them to my YouTube page. And again, separately, you can find out how to create a YouTube page. They're very valuable, but I get it on my phone, I upload it to my YouTube, and then I go on my phone and I have an app, the YouTube app, which you see on the left-hand side there with my picture, and it has something called My Channel. So when let's say I talk to a customer on the phone that calls me, and they say, well, David, I'm not totally convinced. I'll say, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'd like to send you a video. Would it be okay? They say, sure. So I go on my channel, and then I'll pick a video. Let's say the person has high blood pressure, and they're really concerned. And I'll say, can I share a video with you about a person that had high blood pressure? And he had even written a letter to his kids. Wow. He wrote a letter to his kids telling them that he may not be around for their graduation. Therefore, he was writing a letter because he wanted them to read the letter in case he was not around. Incredible. So they'll say, sure, I want to hear that. So I'll send them Gary Denson's testimonial. Right here, I'll click on it, and I'll do copy link. You see how it works? So I go to my phone, right after I hang up with that person, I go to my channel, I click Gary's video, and it'll show up, as you can see, on the third slide to the right, on the upper right, on the top side. Then I click copy link, and the rest is very simple. You go to the text, you send a text to that customer with that link and say, I hope you enjoy it. Let's talk again tomorrow. And you follow up and you continue the process. That's how I do it. That's how it's worked for me. In person, through a story, through sharing a video with a link, and then, of course, following up with the customer. The genuineness, this is what sets us apart. I always say this is what sets a synergy distributor apart. We are engaged. We put ourselves in there. We don't want them to visit something and see an actor or some, marketing piece. We want to show them what we've done and how we've helped. Everyone listening to me should, or I hope should, have an individual that they love that's close to them, that they've helped and transformed their life. So it's your turn. If you want to use and leverage testimonials to your benefit and the benefit of your business, and of course the benefit for transforming lives, it's simple as your cell phone. The next time you talk to them, you say, would you mind, I know you've helped me, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share this new science with my experience with so many more people. And would you mind if I took 2 minutes of your time and you tell me what you just told me? Just repeat it and do it naturally. Don't try to make any, just talk to me, and I will record you. Record it and save it, and you can even send it from your phone. If it's not too long, don't make it too long. That's why no more than 2 minutes, because then if it's too long, the phone won't transmit it. But if it's short enough, compact, then you could send it and share it with someone who can really, really benefit from it. So that's how to leverage testimonials to grow your synergy business. I really hope you enjoyed it. I always like to share this from Jim Rohn. It says, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And that's from a guy who made it through self-education. And I say we're never too old to learn something new. So that's what I have now. Obviously, this is the end of the webinar, but I always like to open it up and see if anyone has questions or comments regarding it. Maybe you needed to get some clarification on some of the material. So let's open up the mics, if you would, Dan, and questions.
Yeah, David, this is Bob.
Yes, Bob.
Yes, Bob. Yeah, just for anybody that's on the call or on the webinar this morning, if you have specific written testimonials or short video testimonials that we could use, if you could send those to me, we'll put those up on the Global Health Makeover website to add to those videos that we've got in there already. They're really powerful, as David has mentioned. I was talking to him just prior to the webinar beginning and indicated that I got an email a couple of days ago from a fellow who I don't know who he is, but he was on our website. He watched one of those testimonials that really resonated with him, and he sent me an email and said, I'm interested in this. And so people go to our website. We have a lot of folks going there, people who we don't even know. They'll see those videos, they'll have questions, and we'd be more than happy. We'd be delighted to put your testimonials up on there. So let me know. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Bob. Were there any other questions from the listeners regarding the presentation or anything, comments that you wish to add? Well, that is great.
David,
Yes.
this is Dan. Again, I want to thank you in that you always do an excellent job, and this is a great tutorial for people to understand how to create their testimonial, as well as doing and using resources that are available to them to either take a testimonial that's already online and use it effectively, or start recording their own testimonials.
Correct. Appreciate that, Dan. I know that, you know, it's summertime and a lot of people may be out and about, but certainly it's great that we're recording this so people can take advantage of learning a little bit more of how they can leverage testimonials and grow their business, really change lives. That's what it's all about.
You know, David, this is Bob again, but I think it's important to remember that, you know, facts tell, but stories sell. And I've discovered that to be very, very true.
That's very true, Bob. And everyone likes to listen to a good story. I would say that. And when you engage, you touch people, like I say, an emotional level, and you can more quickly cut to the chase and become their friend and a trusted person, as opposed to selling them. They don't feel sold. They feel sharing, and that's so important.
And David, you mentioned one thing at the beginning of your conversation, telling people your story. And I know I get it all the time when people call me on the telephone and they ask me, well, do you use this product? And there's your testimonial. Yeah, the product came out in 2008. I started using it. I used it for athletic performance, and it made a huge difference. I had better energy. I was still playing indoor soccer at the time, but more importantly for me, I had no pain or soreness the next day. And then my wife started to use it to treat her high blood pressure, which was 160/90, and it took her blood pressure to 112/68. And it's been that ever since. So we've been on the product. I've been on the product since 2008, almost 10 years on this product. And my wife's been on the product for 9 years. So yeah, we take it every day because it works.
Correct.
And you know, when I just shut up, and what did you do? When you shut up, your person responds. And that's exactly what you did. And that there's that aspect of putting silence in after you share your testimonial to allow that person to process it and then respond back to you. And let that silence last as long as it needs to, because the person is processing and thinking how they're going to respond back to you. Let them do that, because that's going to tell you how you proceed next. And you're a master at doing that.
Right, because then, you know, a lot of people, people are sold all the time. They're being sold to. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people talk about how wonderful the product is and how, you know, why they should buy it, rather than saying how it's changed your own life in a personal level, and how it has and how you, based upon a decision, a life decision, your life would take a different course. And so you're not pushing a product, you're sharing your story. And again, I found that to be such a great tool, because you're not asking that, you're indirectly asking to buy, but you're putting little seeds into, like you saying, that are subconscious, and saying, well, wait a minute, this guy's not pushing me to buy. He's basically telling me a story, and sharing his personal story with me. I don't even know him or her, in this case. So it's fantastic that we have that opportunity in the Synergy, as a Synergy family, to do that kind of stuff and share this kind of strategy. Because I could tell you, Dan, and it's true when I tell you about my experience as a banker. People would open up accounts, and obviously they have a dollar sign all over their forehead, and I could tell, no matter what they tell me, I see that dollar sign coming, and sure enough, it shows up. But in our case, I hope it's the case of everyone listening, if we are genuine in how we feel and the passion we feel about what we represent in terms of a science, in terms of a lifestyle, in terms of a new therapy, what I call the nitric oxide therapy, we are sharing something that is not shared necessarily by the medical community, not shared by, let's say, other people that market products. It's basically a life-changing event. And what we share is just a new way of living. And it only takes, in my case, what I market only takes 2 minutes a day to have a new way of living. And that's what we share. And I find that to be a lot more effective, and especially combined with the testimonial. So that's great. Were there any more comments or questions that we could share this morning regarding this? If not, wow, summer days are beautiful, and we've got to take advantage of them. Now that we're healthier, we can enjoy it more. Let's share it with our customers and our families and whoever comes in our path, and share what we've learned.